digital age of training, one, it is limited to a particular segment of global or Indian people. Har jagah it will not work. People
Correct.
thought during COVID it will happen, but no, it won't. Because the kind of background we come from, we are more comfortable face to face offline जिसको हम कहते हैं programs,
Correct.
especially in the senior level. But having said that, for even companies like Accenture, right from 2009, we have been doing virtual programs using RCT platform and all. And there it was not only in India, it was like 4 countries से भी लोग एक साथ बैठ जाते थे, and we used to do those programs.
Hello everyone, I am Jitendra Singh, banker turned entrepreneur and author of the book Pep Hack Mastering the Art of Selling. I welcome you to read my story where I interview authors, speakers, coaches, celebrities, entrepreneurs and more. Today I have with me Mr. H.S. Prasad. He is a seasoned corporate trainer and a mentor with over 40 years of total work experience, including 20 years in training. His extensive background spans journalism, advertising, international publishing, soft skills and behavioral training. His expertise lies in facilitating customized interventions and training programs for professionals at all levels, from freshers to seasoned veterans in various industries. He excels in helping individuals, managers, leaders, and team manage people, stress, and time to achieve impactful results. His engagement training methods incorporate experiential learning, analogies, anecdotes, and practical insights gained from working with diverse groups and culture both in India and abroad. He holds certifications from prominent organizations and have received recognition for his contributions in training and coaching. So his training experience extends to a wide range of industries including IT, healthcare, pharma, aerospace, automotive, NGO, government organization, media, banking, education, manufacturing, and more. His recent highlights include receiving accolades for his impactful contribution and being recognized as significant contributor in the field of training. His hands-on exposure to different jobs levels within the corporate sector has equipped him to effectively bridge the gap and deliver results. He is certified in company-specific modules and training organizations in India and abroad, such as Infosys, Accenture, SAP, and others. He holds certifications from institutions like Bartlett's and CTG Group. His dedication to deliver quality training has earned him praise and respect in the industry, making him a trusted and experienced corporate trainer and mentor. Today he will be discussing with us about his life journey. So let us hear from him. Welcome Prasad sir. The platform is open and now over to you.
Thank you so much, Jiten. Thanks, friends who are watching this video. Well, let me give you a little background about me, right from my young days, since the time when I probably started getting into my own senses, which was pretty early in my life, because my father passed away when I was just about 11. And I have grown up in hostels. So independence and all that which goes with it, now we tell people about in training, it started pretty early in the life. And I'm thankful to my family and also the Almighty that I went through all that process when I was very young. So that added to the richness of what I'm able to do today, because you experience so many things. So that made a difference. More about it as we go. Something about my name I would like to share with you is it's a very unusual name. H.S. Prasad sounds simple, but when you expand it, it is Honore Sachidanand Prasad. Big name. Very interesting background to this. My parents used to tell me that both these names, Honore and Sachidanand, was given to me before I was born. And I was declared that I'll be a son. And there's a gap of just 10.5 years between me and my elder brother. We are only two siblings, no, unfortunately, no sisters. So the first name, Honore, is a French word. It was given by Holy Mother of Pondicherry, where my parents were devotees. And the second name was given by my grandmother, Sachidanand. So when the right time came and people said, you know what, you want to keep this or not? I said, yes, these are, blessings from two great ladies in my life and I wouldn't do without it. I wouldn't cut it short. So although I love to be called Prasad, but this is what HS Prasad is. And the crux of what I've been trying to achieve as one of the things is to honor those two words in my life. Honore stands for being honorable soul. I don't know how close I am to that. Sachidanand, I am sure all of you know, is the Indian word Sat, Chit, and Anand. So I'm able to balance that with the work and at home and with now grown up children. So that's excellent. And I consider Prasad, which is my title, as blessings from all people I have met throughout the life and I keep meeting personally or professionally. So this is just in what who I am.
Really amazing, sir. And you explained it, like elaborated it very well. Amazing. So first thing I'd like to know from you is like, how did your past life has affected the person you actually wanted to be in your life and what you are?
This is a very interesting journey, and I think it happens with a lot of us. Some of us, I would say, maybe some friends may not agree with me, but most of the time I've seen, a lot of things we decide what we want to do. It may just not work out the way you want to do. So to answer this particular question, my family has been into HR, so-called personnel early on for 3 generations. And I wanted to break that. I just didn't want to get into it because when you have that hot young blood, you want to do something different. So I decided to get into journalism. Against all odds, I had to fight with my family, I would say, and because journalism was not there anywhere in the scene. Those days, I'm talking of late 70s and early 80s. There was absolutely no textbook. There was only 1 or 2 institutions which were offering courses where we were lucky, I would say, that the editors and the all the news reporters, senior people, they used to come to take classes directly. So we got lucky because we got hands-on practical insights, which you may not get into books. I was lucky to get into a job before I completed the course because they just picked me up. He said, no, chalo, let's go and do some field work. Put into practice what you are, hearing. So that's the best way to learn. So that's where I started. And I would have loved to be there, honestly speaking, because writing and photography has been my passion right from my childhood. And this was a culmination of both in this particular profession, journalism. I was doing, the good old days, we were the infant stage photojournalists, take the photographs, write the stories, and submit. Having said that and talked about passion and fighting and all that, I lasted only about 1.5 years in my chosen profession. What happens is normally people tend to, get into all kind of that depression, this, that, and you name it. I'm not able to do what I wanted to do and all of it, but this was my own decision. It was not forced by anybody. Situations around me were such that I had no other option but to move away from, my chosen profession or what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be. Well, life as such, just like birth and death is not in your hand. Certain things related to work also is not in your hand, and especially if you're working for somebody else.
Correct.
So I had to, I got married in 91 and even before that, like I said, 1.5 years into my chosen profession, I had a very interesting stint in advertising, which I didn't know nothing about. It was new in Bangalore those days, and 450 of the best companies were coming from Mumbai to, set their stage here. And I had the pleasure of starting an advertising agency with screen printing unit and all that. And we are doing very well under the nose of some of the best people, what we call passion, which got into it. And I found that I have the skill for designing. I have the skill for also doing BD, business development. So to meet people, get their understanding, it's not easy, and then explain it to the artists and all those guys to make the. And then I figured out there's always a gap between what the client wants and what is being delivered, because those days those guys were like, we will only give this. This is what we think is the best thing to give. So then I started doing a bit of sketching and all that and showing it to the client, and then coming back to my team and saying, hey, you know what, this is what they want. So that was going well. And then, like I said, I got married, and my mother was not well. So for me, yeah, money is important. It is always important for everyone. But relationships have been always more important than anything else. So my mother was alone in Pondicherry, and she crossed 70 years, yeah, at that time, not keeping well, and she didn't want to move to Bangalore because my father's all friends were also in Pondicherry. He left us early, but all his friends, most of them, they had decided they will go and settle there, so they were there. So mother had good company over there, but she was not keeping well. So post marriage, we shifted there, and then again I had to go through a change in profession because Pondicherry doesn't those days didn't offer anything to do with advertising.
Correct.
So I got into publishing, international publishing, printing, and exporting of books. And then I realized that, as I was maturing with age, I'm talking around about when I was 31 years old. So, the things used to come, hey, I'm not able to do. Then I realized, okay, it's all those skills which I've picked up during my journalism and advertising is what I'm using here, and a little more. So, all the pre-work or the editing and all that called for those skills, and it added value to the organization, and more than the organization, the clients from abroad. And clients from abroad are, even now, those days they were even more very, very particular about certain things to be done in a particular way. And thanks to my exposure to advertising, I was like, very, very particular about client wants this particular color, we give this color. How do we get it? Yeah, so there I discovered few more skills, and I was like talking to all the technicians and started working next to the printers in the workshop. So you deliver what you promise.
Amazing.
And more work started coming, so it was a good stint for about 14 years. So that part of the journey was there. And of course, 6 years we were able to, as a couple, look after my mother. She was not keeping well, as I mentioned, and she didn't have much time, but she was there with us for longer than what doctors had predicted. She got the opportunity of playing with my elder son, who was born there. In fact, both of them were born there. So we continued to stay there because it's a small town, and we wanted to give that kind of a background to children, how to live in, limited environment and things like that. And Pondicherry now also is, and those days, it was more beautiful, and we were connected with the ashram. Orwell was coming up that time, so Matra Mandir especially, so I was very closely involved with that. Then came a time that you asked me that question. I'm going a little deep into it because it's pretty interesting. Children were growing up, they came to a particular age. And when we used to come visiting my brother in Bangalore or go to other relatives up north, they such big buildings, this kind of life. So we didn't want to put them into a boarding school and kind of have a life, start a life on their own at that stage, because we felt one experience was not good, and Bangalore was perhaps only the option where the so-called teenager life was a little going out of hand. So we didn't want that to happen. So we decided to shift as a family back to Bangalore. Then they went through their education here, and today both of them are working. Elder one has completed 10 years. Like it or not, he is in a hardcore HR. Younger one is for completing his 4 years, and he is into selling and data analysis and all that. And I continue to work on my own. So this is that fourth segment of my life where, as people will call, as the blood pulled me back into what I didn't want to do. That was
Right.
HR.
Right. Training is
But
part of HR only.
absolutely.
Correct.
But the only difference I made was that after a lot of thinking and all of that, what I did was I have a passion. I used always had a passion for trekking and doing all these. Mountain climbing and all those things. In fact, one thing perhaps which I have not mentioned to you is that I was one of the first few people who were part of Duke of Edinburgh award scheme in school days, where I won a silver medal. I couldn't go up to gold. We used to go for 100-mile trekking in a day. Morning 6 you start and you end by 6 wherever you are. Very well planned and organized. Went visited Nepal that way and so many other places in India. So that passion was there. So I said, okay, with all the experience and all that, how can I continue doing what I want to do? Because so far I've been doing things because I have, it had to happen. So the company which I joined, Accord Consultants, there they had an outbound division. And normally trainers, they first do indoor training and then they go for outbound and outdoor. My entry was reverse. It was more into outdoor and outbound and then into indoors.
Amazing.
So also what I'm trying to say is that was more hands-on and practical because no PPTs, no manuals. Nature is the greatest teacher. It changes in the moment of a second, and now it is raining, now it is sun and all that, and in that you have to work. So what we say today, quickly unlearn and learn. So that's what was required for a lot many people, and especially senior people who have done enough and more of training. What do you do with them?
Correct.
So you put them into this kind of a situation, and then have a briefing and debriefing around activities. So activities used to become a means to an end. So we used to go to details to understand as to what is happening, how the need has arisen, what is the outcome they are requiring long term, how it is going to impact the others in the team, and then get into a very detailed program, which could be 3 days, 2 nights, or 2 days, 2 nights. Then I designed a module which was one day, morning to evening, called outdoor. So there's a difference between outdoor and outbound because outdoor we don't. It is most of the time it is non-residential, whereas outbound is residential.
Okay.
Because those days in Bangalore, IT was booming and they didn't have time, or youngsters were there, they had families to look after, so they couldn't stay overnight. A lot of ladies, so challenging. So we used to do this outbound programs and then outdoor programs, and then of course got into big way into indoor programs because same companies or the others said, hey, you know what, we need this experience which you have had over 4 different professions. It makes a huge difference because I also realized that being a manager myself in my last 2 organizations, the story or the requirement is the same, irrespective of the industry or the company. Issues or concerns are same. How to manage people, how to manage more people and do your work. And IT could be more challenging because people want to be individual contributors. They don't want to, manage teams.
Right.
So
Right,
called
sir.
techie.
That was really amazing story, like how you started, what all you did. So you also mentioned about your like things you are passionate about in your life. So I want to
Hmm.
like explore it little further.
Sure.
In brief itself. So like you mentioned, you've been always passionate about writing and photography, but
Hmm.
you did not continue it for long, and then you
Hmm.
got into training and other things. Like you are also a nature lover. You go for what we call it as training programs near to nature as well as walks. So how is your like things you are passionate about your life have helped you to grow better in life, and also what is the role of motivation and inspiration onto it further?
So, like I just started to mention to you, as I got into this fourth part of my profession, fourth profession, I would say, journalism to advertising to publishing to training. So I started working for an organization and I was very keen to use all my skills and all my, as you said, previous experience, and what I wanted to do. Because as a trainer, you don't only train, you have to prepare a lot, you have to design your own manuals, you have to design your own ppts now. So all that which I wanted to do as a maybe journalist, I was doing out over here, but not, I mean, yes, that gap was there, that okay. But again, I found that I had this passion. Even as a journalist, I realized what I was looking out to do was meet more people. And in training gave me that platform that I know probably I would have done more than about 600 plus outbound bound programs itself and indoor or lost count. So you meet so many people, and used to love to. I didn't realize till I started training that I'm a very also passionate about studying the behaviors of people. Why do they do what they do and how they do?
Right.
So classroom training or any other training, what happens is one thing is, yes, content is there, your agenda is there, everything is there, manual is there, but end of the day it is the talk. And when you watch the experience and you listen to what they are saying and what their need is, and if you are able to connect, well, session goes well, excellent. Plus, what I was doing there or what I wanted to do, I was getting back into it.
Correct.
I hope that gives you that idea. And then around 2014, I decided, as I was getting younger, I didn't want to retire. So I started on my own. Savash Consultants is the name given to my organization. And we're doing quite well till COVID hit us. But then, those risks can happen anywhere. And now the recovery has been very good. And one thing, yes, as you said, key learning is that look, when you have skills in your hand in the content over here and you are able to relate and connect, work will come to you.
Correct. So that keeps you motivating.
Yes, and also what happens is, I have tried to kind of focus on working with mid and senior level managers and leadership. Because what happens is, what I've seen is that they get the role. Maybe they have seen their bosses perform, but when it comes on to them, they are not able to manage it well. Manufacturing still it is better, but IT and the other sectors is challenging. And
Correct.
today with aviation getting into it and foreigners coming into it, it has been a big challenge. So understanding them, understanding their industries, giving their related examples, industry related examples, that got me, the recognition in the market, if I can call it, or in the industry, that hey, here is this one guy who can move across industry sectors and deliver.
Correct.
Today, what they say is that you should have 5 products of your own. You should specialize in a particular sector. But we are those crazy guys who go around
Correct.
and deliver.
Like worked with multiple industries who have greater exposure. So like since
Absolutely.
you've been working on different industries, different segments, different job roles. So what were the journey throughout was? What challenges or what benefits you can derive from there?
Benefits, certainly I cherish is at each stage in each profession. Every year so far, I have been always a learner. I will remain a learner. So every day I learn something new. Every session I attend, I go to, I learn from my participants. And yes, another thing I like to share here quickly is that, I may have run the same program multiple times, but none of my programs are going to be the same. Even if it is the 10th batch in the same company, there'll be a difference.
Right.
And second thing is that, as you were mentioning, is that after all that preparation, thankfully, I say thankfully is because when you put hard effort, you do understand that you cannot get overconfident about delivering programs, and especially in nature when you have nothing to bank on. So with that experience, indoor programs, what I have been able to do is, I mean, even today when I go and do a program, I feel queasiness in my stomach. I'm being very upfront. If I don't feel that, something is wrong somewhere, either I'm not prepared or somewhere something, I get a feeling I'm not, there. So putting in a lot of hard work, having that, some people may even call it fear. I would say that little bit of a healthy stress that, hey, you know what? These guys are going to be different set of people. They're not the same people. So how can you connect? How can you relate? How can you, give them what they're coming from? So that makes my trainings largely different from a lot of other people, because one not tailor made to suit only customized sessions. So even if it is a vanilla program, I will make it customized on the go.
Right.
And the other thing is that even in my indoor programs, I have brought in a lot of activities which not many people do, at least the way I do or what I do. And again, I would like to repeat that it's a means to an end. Yeah, you can show them 200 slides. You can, give them any amount of written material and share experiences. But end of the day, if you don't do a simulation, or if you don't, get them to understand by them experiencing, the value does not go to the level where it is required to reach. And that is one of the reasons why a lot of word of mouth work is coming to me, because people have understood this part and they say, if you want something like this, reach out to him. So thankfully, not that I am not doing BD, but it's more people reaching out to me at the stage which I have come right now.
Correct.
And this stage is not only because of training, it's also because of the previous journey of life I have had. So I love to say in my program that right from workshop to CXO, I have worked through across vertical, horizontal. So I understand if a manager says that manufacturing, I'm having a concern, or workshop, I am having a problem, or IT, I am having issue. Because I have been there, I have done it myself. When we started, I first handled the computer. I remember we had the flat CPUs and green monitors. So we used to work with WordStar and all that, PageMaker. I know not many people would be aware of it. From there to current scenario. So somewhere I saw the connect that, hey, these guys need to understand, and I can relate because I've been there, I've done that.
Yes.
So briefly, I wanted to tell you this, and I'm enjoying this stage now, being with people and doing different things. Or there have been example, I won't name the company for whatever reason right now, but a big, large corporate group out of Delhi, their senior leadership team since 2006, every year they have been coming back for program at that level, on the senior level. Now it has gone to the global level also. In this program, we will want him to be present. We know we are going back to the same person, but he is the guy who will invent something different and give it to us, which others may or may not do it.
Correct.
So for that, why I'm giving you that example is that you have to not only study the industry, you have to keep track of the growth of the company and where they're heading, what is required, and that makes life simple for them.
Right. So that's really amazing, sir. Sir, since you've been in training for more than 20 years now, so how do you see your further journey as, like, what is your vision, mission, and goal in life for next 5 to 10 years from now?
Well, vision, mission, and I think we are beyond that right now. But like I said, I don't want to retire. I never wanted to retire. I want to retire only once, when I meet with the Almighty. So maybe you can call that as my goal, is कि till मेरे को काम करते रहना है. I can't sit आराम से in घर पे. So I have to keep myself engaged, and fortunately good assignments are also coming. तो वो एक level है, एक bracket है जहाँ पे need है हमारे जैसे लोगों की. So we focus on that, and so maybe you can look that as a goal.
Amazing.
Or a mission.
No, it helps you keep healthy also. Amazing. So now, what are the most important life lessons, 2-3 things you have learned from your personal or professional journey?
The tough one to answer, but I would say one, listen to everyone and do what you think is right. Because end of the day, whatever result you're going to get is going to impact you the most. So listen to everyone, but do what you think is right.
Correct.
And whatever you want to do, give your best into it. I am also certified by Berlitz of Germany It's one of the biggest consulting firms. So my certification is in क्रॉस कल्चरल सेंसिटिविटी. तो वहाँ पे कंपनीज के लिए तो हम करते ही करते हैं. ऑल देयर प्रोग्राम्स इन इंडिया वी आर सर्टिफाइड टू डू. बट अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट ये बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है कि जो जैसे सीईओ एंड ऑल दी सीनियर गाइज who are either shifting from India or settling down in India. We do training for them on the personal level, including the wife and the children.
Okay, amazing.
So telling them about how to adjust or adapt into Indian culture, or how we have to do a lot of study of which culture they are coming from. And आज तो ऐसा हो गया है कि people go from different countries. एक country में 2 साल 3 साल रहेंगे, दूसरी country में जाएंगे, and then they will come. So correct. That whole package is entirely different.
Right. So this is kind of a new thing which I also came across to know. So now coming back to like the topic which we were willing to talk about, the training part. Like since we are in digital era, so onto this, if I ask you like how has the landscape of corporate training evolved in this digital era, and what are the key challenges and opportunities it present to trainers and the organizations?
Evolving, I would say it is evolving quite well. The example I like to honestly give you, it's like there was only newspaper and TV came, people used to wonder newspaper ka kya. Right. Both survived. Then with cinema it happened, OTT came. All 4 mediums are surviving and doing very well. So similarly, digital age of training, one, it is limited to a particular segment of global or Indian people. Har jagah it will not work. People thought during COVID it will happen, but no, it won't. Because the kind of background we come from, we are more comfortable face-to-face offline जिसको हम कहते हैं programs, especially in the senior level. But having said that, for even companies like Accenture, right from 2009, we have been doing virtual programs using RCT platform and all. And there it was not only in India, it was like 4 countries से भी लोग एक साथ बैठ जाते थे, and we used to do those programs.
Okay, amazing.
But having said that, COVID के time में with this Zoom and Teams and all those things coming in, it was a challenge for many people who were handling non-IT segments. IT में तो कोई issue नहीं थे, हम लोग पहले भी कर रहे थे and it was going on. But now when you ask for the challenges and the takeaways, so challenges में main चीज क्या होता है, you cannot have activities, you cannot have a lengthy discussion, and try as much as you can. Maybe I'm wrong here, but वो एक पर्सनल कनेक्ट नहीं बनता है. We done enough programs,
and expectation is like कि these training programs should end fast.
Absolutely.
And physical training, when we go, we look forward to like having an extended session. सुबह से लेके शाम तक, probably 1 day, 2 day program. But for these type of programs, like 2-3 hours is like, seems like it's too long.
So I call them, and I'm sorry to use that word, but I call them just ticking the check box program. हो गया.
Correct.
Having said that, I don't handle those 2 hours, 3 hours program. Minimum 4 hours or 8 hours is what I handle. And I've done this for PSUs also on virtual programs, because when you adapt to that medium of training, it happens. So it goes well where it is required. But the other thing is for the company, it is beneficial because time बचता है, cost बचता है, and they are able to link people from across geographies, if not the cities. तो वो travel cost भी बचता है, and all of that happens. But take away for the participants, somewhere we get that कि हाँ वो impact नहीं मिल रहा है जो मिलना चाहिए.
Correct. So on this further, like जैसे हम insights की बात करते हैं और impact की बात करते हैं, तो what are the insights into the impact of technology which is created by like e-learning platforms on the effectiveness of these training programs? So especially in the context of soft skills या behavioral trainings when we talk about.
So इसमें what I find is what today most of the managers would be, or they have to get used to if they're not used to already. The era ahead is that of Gen Y and Gen Z. एंड
Right.
दे आर वेरी टेक सेवी. वो मतलब वो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में भी वो they would love to go and do everything standing in the workshop on their mobile. Forget the laptop and iPad. That is also.
Right.
तो उनके लिए it is advantages because they are more comfortable with this medium and they are able to connect, they are able to relate, and they are able to grasp it faster. So what we were doing in, let's say, 4 hours or 8 hours earlier on, because they are having a very fast understanding of what is being said, time durations come down. But since they don't have the experience, it needs to be repeated multiple times for them.
Right.
एडवांटेज भी है और डिसएडवांटेज भी है. एंड व्हाट आई लाइक टू क्विकली ऐड इज दैट कि once the offline program started with the same set of participants or in the same organization, when we went and we did an offline program, even Gen Z and Gen Y said that no, this is indeed better than virtual.
Correct.
तो एक वो है कि हाँ, जहाँ जरूरत है वहाँ करो, और जहाँ जो एक्चुअल चीज की जरूरत है वो करो. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल, टुमारो आई एम गोइंग आउट, आई मीन आई एम लीविंग फॉर Kurk for a off-site program for a company where about 80 people will be there. About 4 team members from my side will be present. You know, they're experts in their own line, technically, about equipment and things like that. So these companies also, when the requirement comes, it's very rarely they go virtual. But main thing is, having said, yes, the coaching part and the mentoring part, जो पहले टेलीफोन में होता था या 1-to-1 होता था, that has picked up a big time on virtual, and
Correct.
it is confidential also. तो लोग for that it is good.
Correct. So one-to-one session wise, it is better if we like compare to earlier sessions. But when it comes to group training and like classroom training kind of a thing, then virtual sessions are not that effective as compared to the physical ones. So that
Especially
is
at a particular level.
yeah. So from your like vast experience in training diverse audiences are there, so how do you tailor training interventions to address the specific needs of individuals, teams, or organizations in this digital era or the evolving era of trainings?
So as I started mentioning earlier on, you know, it is very important for people like me at least to understand where the need is coming from. So what we call is either TNI or TNA, training need analysis. वो हमको करना जरूरी है. Mostly today companies have their L&D, they do it, but some of them they don't do it as deeply as it is required, based on their own approach paper कि मेरे को ये चाहिए.
Most companies
So
do
you
it as an tick mark exercise.
So when you deep dive into it and you start asking questions, ये कैसे हुआ, क्यों हुआ, so lot of them get scared also. They don't want to share information. We have to sign NDAs, and then those companies who understand the value of why these questions are asked, then we start meeting the senior people who are guiding the entire growth of the organization or a group of companies. And it comes from them down. You know, this is what is the vision mission of the company right now. This is where we want to head. And these guys who are going to be coming to training to you, we want to, you know, get them to reach this level. We know it's not going to happen in one training, but वो एक जो vision हमको उनसे मिलता है या वो understanding मिलती है, then we decide कि based on that कितने बाइट का, कितना you know dose 500 mg डालना है या 1000 mg करना है या 25 mg से स्टार्ट करना. We work that out for them, and then we give them a idea कि look, if you do this, these are things you can cover or this can be done. And then sometimes it becomes into an intervention, like okay, depending on, because क्या लोग भी they keep moving from one company to the other company pretty fast. So they come with their own baggage and, you know, they have their own experience. They think it will work in the company. It doesn't.
Correct.
तो उसमें क्या होता है कि you have to get them to understand कि भाई training is not because you're not competent. पहले ये होता था ना, either you're not competent और boss को चाहिए कि नहीं, you have to improve on a skill set, or as a punishment they were sent for training.
True.
तो अभी भी हो रहा है, ऐसा नहीं कि नहीं होता है. एंड दे एक्सपेक्ट मैजिक टू हैपन. तो
Which never happens.
हाँ, मैजिक को करने के लिए वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड ki, what their background is. To so quickly give you another example. About 3 weeks ago, I think when we had just connected, I had just finished doing a advanced presentation skill program for a software company. उनके यहाँ minimum people who had come for my program had 20 years of experience, and today they will also understand. After the program is over, they said, Prasad, we have been making presentations in India, in US, and you name it, countries, because they're spread all over the globe. We have never thought of these things. We have never looked into these things or understood the importance, the way you are putting it across. कि it is not only the content, it is not only this, but ये चीजें जो हैं, the human aspect, how do you get them to get involved?
Correct.
तो ये सारी चीजें जो हैं, चीजें हमको समझ में आती है, तो we even do a pre-work at a lot of times to understand where they are, what their needs are from the participants also, so that we are able to kind of meet the needs of the HR, the training manager, the participants, and also the senior team.
Right, that's amazing. Like based on the data collected on various points, the need analysis is done for trainings, and on the basis of that, further programs are designed. So that is really amazing. So since one more thing, like I'd like to ask on this, like as business is becoming more global and more diverse, so how do trainers or you address the challenges of cross-culture training programs to promote effectiveness in communication and the other things related to work in this digital workplace?
Initially, it used to be a challenge, but today क्या है कि from India also, there's minimum एक घर या दो घर से somebody is abroad or gone abroad or is working abroad or studying abroad. So they have also started understanding the difference between the, पहले वो बोलते थे ना, you go abroad, you don't feel like coming back to India, कि वहाँ का हवा पानी और कल्चर अलग है. But here, when people are going for short stints or they have to work with that particular culture, it's quite challenging to prepare them for the both ways. Whether either they're coming here or like you had mentioned कि आजकल global teams हैं. So you will have 2 people from Philippines, you will have 10 from America, 40 from India, and so on and so forth. Now these teams come without जो भी हम बोल रहे हैं, जितना भी आप advanced हो, you the way you're brought up, your tradition, all that comes into play somewhere. You cannot avoid that, and you have to understand. Okay, if this guy is saying something like this, where is he or she coming from? So इसके वजह से conflicts बहुत ज़्यादा होते थे. So when I went through this accreditation also, उसके पहले भी we had started realizing basically world में there are 4 models of culture.
Right.
So if you are able to understand and give them some idea about it, slowly they pick up from that. कि ठीक है, हमारे यहाँ ऐसा हो रहा है, तो ये यहाँ पे ये चीज हो रही है. So again, as you mentioned, another thing, communication may be listening is the key. Like we are also talking, there are, you have to adapt and adjust sometime कि अभी इस word का मतलब when it is coming from this culture, what can it be? You can't guess. You have to clarify. Is this what you mean?
Correct.
So this is very, very important. So asking questions. Okay, let me start the other way around. First, suspend judgment.
That's
about
really important.
Whatever perception, whatever it is. Suspend judgment. Ask questions. Even if it is silly, ask. Paraphrase. ये इंडिया में ये शब्द अभी भी not many people are familiar with it. Foreign folks, especially from US, they do it very effectively. कि आपको बीच में रोक के, is this what you mean? Is this what you said? So online उनकी clarity होती जा रही है. So what happens is when you are having a discussion or a meeting or a program, things go in the direction or they make their point.
Correct.
So उससे clarification हो जाती है, and then you probe, then you ask open, close question, and then you summarize. So if you are able to do that in a cross-cultural environment, every time when you are in a meeting or a discussion or a program, that gives them all the clarity they need.
Right. Amazing. That is really important, like to connect with people ask them questions that gives you an edge, that you can understand what they're thinking or what they want to say. Sometimes it happens as you don't understand what exactly they're trying to say or
Yeah.
what they mean actually. Sometimes for them also it is quite difficult because they do certain things in their as per their different culture. So that is really important. So coming back to you again, sir, so what is your take on success? What do you feel or believe about it?
Three, four words I like to use here. One is your dedication, determination, passion, and passion मतलब हिंदी में मैं word use करते जुनून. If you don't have the information also, how do you get it? And keep working at it. This is what is the crux of, I feel, becoming successful in whatever you do at whatever level. You take any person today who's been successful at the large scale also. ये दिस इज द बॉटम लाइन.
Correct.
अगर ये मिसिंग है तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते आप.
True.
Sometimes people ask me, अभी I don't want to get into numbers, but you know, how is it that the same program I do, I get paid only so much, and when you are doing it, it's certainly not about age or only experience. It's about the effort, as we were discussing earlier on, which you put for each program.
Correct.
ठीक है, तो उसके लिए वो एक रिसर्च करना, वो looking into details is very important, and what is going to work for them. So the more where I'm coming from and why I'm sharing this with you, the more I do, I feel the satisfaction, I get the confidence, and I feel satisfied that yes, I have done a good job. Correct. Of what has been asked for. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir, rightly. And we are on last one. Any message or advice you would like to share with our viewers and listeners?
Like I said, मेरा बस यही रिक्वेस्ट रहेगा, listen more, talk less. क्योंकि क्या होता है प्रोफेशनल वर्ल्ड में, you may be very good at your work, तो आप इतने पैशनेट हो जाते हैं कि आप दूसरे की नहीं सुनते. And especially when you are working for a company, no, they will have their own ways and want you to do certain things in a particular. So you have to be flexible to adapt to it. I am not saying change your personality, adapt. जब तक वहाँ do that, when you move on, you'll have to get adjusted to something else. So while listening is important, because वो manager आपको क्या brief कर रहा है या senior person क्या brief कर रहा है, you don't know where, because they're not at the liberty to share everything with you. वो इतना बताएंगे जितना जरूरत. तो उसके basis पे, based on your skill levels which you have, how do you can contribute your best? Just focus on that.
Right.
If you have other ideas, do share with it. But if it is not accepted, don't feel bad about it. Keep making a bank and keep those ideas. You never know कब जरूरत पड़ेगी.
Correct. Rightly pointed out, sir.
So listening is one thing, and second thing is it's not because it does work for me. Intuition plays a big role. Yeah, how do you use your internal intuition to help you take decision? Because decision making is one of the toughest thing for anybody, and you can't run away from it.
Correct.
चाहे वो पर्सनल हो चाहे प्रोफेशनल हो, and professional, like we were just discussing, in my case, I'm lucky. I learned it the hard way, but I learned to take my decisions, and I won't say live with it, make it my passion. Because if you don't do it, you can't give your best, and once you can't give your best, people will not treat you at that particular level. हाँ है, ठीक है, but you won't go beyond that. And एक बार जब perception बन जाता है तो it is very very difficult to break it. So get it right from the beginning and keep working on it. And last point I'd like to share with you is be ready for change, accept change. हम सब बोलते हैं या हम करते हैं, बट जब सिर पे आता है ना तो we are very uncomfortable with change.
Correct.
और आज की जो current world situation is growing so fast. Everything around us, within us, is changing so rapidly. So if you don't change, you will be left out.
True. Really important. Like, we should be well versed with the environment and the pace the environment is changing. Like, environment we mean by the economical, the socio-cultural, everything. is changing so fast, we also need to be at the same pace. So that
That's
is
right.
really important. And amazingly, you mentioned all the things, how really important all these things are for us. And the things you mentioned about the training programs you are conducting, how you are conducting, and how these training program in this digital era can impact in our life, as most of the things are getting into a digital platforms. So it is really important for us to understand the need of getting into digital platforms for training and development needs. And on the other side, the importance of physical trainings is also really important, because that gives you a connection, that gives you an understanding of people, socio psychological understanding of the environment, which is again really important. Because we like Gen Z and Gen Y, we are talking about, they are moreover on digital things, so they are cut on emotions, they are cut on like relationship building. So
Mhm.
that's why it is really important that we should bring a balance of both, and we should continue with the same thing. Really amazing thing you have shared today, and I really enjoyed. Looking forward to hear
Sure.
more from you soon. Again, thank you so much for your time, sir. Amazing to have you here.
Thank you, Jiten, to have me with you. It was a delight speaking to you. And yes, I'm also looking forward to connecting again and stay connected otherwise.
Sure, sir. I will also share your social media link along with the interview so that people can be in touch with you, take your help and guidance wherever they feel like. So, guys, don't forget to check that out too. Thank you so very much, everyone, for watching and listening. I hope you all must have gathered a lot of information and enjoyed watching it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Have a good time. Thank you, and bye bye.